at Knifewear, we sharpen hundreds of knives every week by hand on whetstones and have yet to find a method that works better for us and gives better results.
Having said that, not everyone has the desire or ability to be able to use these stones, nor they may not have the local knife stores that they can bring their knives to sharpen.
Today, we're going to test out a couple of the most common gadgets we've found to see how they measure up against the whetstone sharpening.
Full disclaimer, we do sell whetstones, so we are obviously biased, but we try our best to get the fair shot for these guys today.
So today, we've got two different experience levels. I'm pretty spoiled here at work and I can just bring my knives into Naoto, who's a really good sharpener. I'm more like what these products are geared towards.
I've done this a couple of times. Matter of fact, I've been here for 12 years. I've been sharpening, researching, and even being trained under the master sharpener. And I'm here to see if I can help these guys' gadgets to reach their own potentials.
So today we've got a couple of gadgets that we've brought in. We've got the Sharpal, which is designed for both standard and Asian models of knife. We got this off of Amazon and it's identical to pretty much any of the pull-through models that you see used commonly. I think Henkel's has one, and we've got this swivel sharpener that we got from Amazon, the Ruixin Pro. Yeah, I'm excited to see what that thing has to offer. First up, we've got the pull-through sharpener. Asian knife sharpening instructions. 15-degree double beveled edge knife. Do not sharpen any single beveled edge, such as traditional sashimi style blade. So is there one that's labeled Asian? Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Oh, there's actually standard knife sharpening instruction and Asian knife sharpening instruction.
Well, I think this is an Asian knife, so let's go Asian.
Okay, Asian knife includes O santoku and other approximately 15-degree double beveled edge knife. 1. Hold the sharpener with your left hand on a flat, stable surface. Keep fingers a safe distance from sharpening slots, otherwise injury could occur.
Okay.
2. Insert blade fully into appropriate sharpening slot at 90-degree angle to the sharpener. Insert the blade fully into the appropriate sharpening slot. I would say, yeah, that place is good. Oh, by the way, you have to make sure that the edge is not sharp, so here it's not sharp.
Whoa, he didn't test that before.
Insert the blade fully into the appropriate sharpening slot at a 90-degree angle to the sharpener. Gently, with the light pressure, pull the knife blade from the heel to tip in direction of indicator arrows. Number 1 V-notch slot, coarse carbide, quickly set the new bevel. So she has, note, light pressure is sufficient when using the knife sharpener. Heavy pressure might cause to lose control of the knife and could cause possibly injury. Carefully and gradually increase the pressure until desired results is realized.
Okay. It doesn't feel very nice. I don't know when the desired effect is.
It doesn't say how many times, so I mean, like, it doesn't.
Oh, God.
Use number 2 ceramic slot only to sharpen your serrated edge knife as well. 3.
Okay, so
Repeat above action until blade is sharp.
So just keep going until I feel like it's sharper. It's making less gross noise. So I think it was actually resetting the edge. I do make it into videos sometimes, but I manage the warehouse. And so I think that maybe people don't know that I know what a sharp knife feels like. I do, I just don't sharpen them. This isn't amazing yet. Okay, so I've gone through
How many strokes?
like 12 to 20. I lost count somewhere in there because I was blathering. It's making less noise. And so I feel like if this was my tool and my knife in my kitchen, I might think that that was an indicator of doneness. So maybe we should try testing. Okay.
Maybe you need a little bit more?
I think it needs more. Okay, that's 20 more.
See how it did?
So when I'm testing, I usually like to change direction in the paper just to show that it does actually cut. And I mean, this would not pass the warehouse test. I could go 20 more. Or maybe it needs a honing.
Yeah,
Should I use the honing slot?
Let's do that.
Okay. Light pressure, 90 degrees. It's very tense. I mean,
It does look slightly better than the course.
yeah. And it's phone book, so you know. When I'm in the warehouse and I'm on the checking station, I want to make sure that, you know, our customer gets the finest knife that they can get. And so what I'm looking for in the paper test is like grabbiness, and I'm listening for tearing. This is grabby on the paper and it is tearing. I like to change the direction to know like if it's actually cutting or if it's just like ripping in advance of the knife or ripping with the pressure of the knife, which is why I'm being a little wonky here. And I like to test the whole length of the blade just to make sure it's going through. And honestly, like, I would be really upset if we passed this knife. It's a lot sharper than it was. It wouldn't have cut the paper before, like.
Let me try.
Okay.
We have seen many knives being destroyed by those pull-through sharpeners. And probably partly because they don't read this instruction. Because you follow the instruction right, it says, do not put a lot of pressure, work on one directional only. And I bet a lot of people will find this and Asian.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
And that will cause not only the injury to you, but an injury to the knife.
Yeah.
One of the thing about these guys is that
Probably got a gnarly burr from.
what it does is though it will probably make very. I see some like metal peeling off actually. Yeah. So definitely taking the metal off from the edge. One of the hardest thing is really to keep the same angle every time I actually insert them. I did about 5 strokes. So it needs. So what it's doing is peeling the steel from both sides a little bit at a time. And now I am applying pretty like a little bit more pressure.
It still hurts my teeth.
And I did about 10 strokes now. One of the things that, no, it's not doing anything. One of the things I found here is that yes, it does need a lot more strokes than you think. Well, I thought even. It's really hard to work on the very heel and the very tip. So I will end up, if I keep doing this, I will end up with low spots right here and low spots right here. Because you can't set the very edge, like
It's
the heel.
really hard to get it in there.
And that's what happens when the Tiff was using it and it was pulling, right?
yeah.
And what people will probably do is just work on this. Tip is so hard.
I don't think anybody's ever looked so fashionable using one of these.
Oh, it chipped.
Oh.
I wasn't putting that lot of pressure. There was like,
I told you it felt bad.
okay. And it's not Sharpie yet. I just used the honing port. Well, it does actually make the edge slightly better, for sure, with the honing ceramic part. But as I increased a little bit of pressure on this, as you saw on camera, a knife chipped. I didn't put that much of pressure. I would have, because I had no intention of actually chipping a knife.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like the more I increased the pressure, the worse it felt.
So yeah, if you're sharpening the regular, say, Henkels or knives from IKEA, it would have been fine. But if you're sharpening, and that's one of the reasons why we don't recommend you to use one of those tools for the fine, hard Japanese knives.
Asian knives.
So I was just gonna say, like, some of the advantages to this that I found is that it is quick and easy. I wanted it to work really badly because, if I could reset the edge on my knife at home without having to like bring it in or whatever, or learn to sharpen, then it would be really handy to like just have something, just a quick reset and then get back to cooking.
This gadget tool does put the edge back on. If you follow the instruction with a light pressure, it does improve the edge quality, definitely from what it was before. Even though it looks pretty easy to operate, it's not actually, right? You have to actually do it on a certain way, and just really following the instructions is very important.
Yeah.
As well, it has a limitation because the V edge closes right here, so you can't really sharpen them any finer than this V. I don't know how these guys wear as well in overtime,
right?
As well, and tiny bit of mistake or tiny bit of. I didn't really mean to do this. Some YouTube videos we try to wreck the knives, and that's what. If we're gonna wreck the knife, we'll try our best to wreck the knife. I didn't do it, and it chipped the knife.
And like you're trying to do your best, right? Like I think it was really interesting what you had to say about keeping the angle straight, because I did find it really difficult to like make it go through exactly the same way every time. And then I was actually pretty surprised that I didn't chip it either.
Next one up, we have this guy. Ruixin Pro.
All right.
All right. It's not very Japanese.
Okay.
Let's open it up and see what's inside. These systems are pretty popular these days. They try to replicate the how you sharpen them with the whetstones or sharpening stones, and they make it so that you can keep the same angle as you sharpen them. How are you doing?
Great.
I think we did it! Idea is to clamp the knife like this and slide this.
Oh, like back
stone.
and forth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like this, I think.
Okay.
One thing that they didn't have is that they don't tell you which angle this rod sits. So we have to use the app on the phone.
That's right here.
Oh, okay.
It sits right there to use the app.
Oh, just to use a app, or this is their app?
No, it's the A app.
An app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just in these instructions, just like find an app.
Go to the app store, find a portrait.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alrighty, I think that's. Whew. How are we doing with the time?
It took like half an hour.
Oh, here you go. It's not too bad.
Okay, so Naoto has reset the angle to 15. This says, put some ink on the edge bevel with a magic marker. Do not wet the stone. Stroke the stone very lightly across the edge of the blade. Now you can see where the stone is cutting in relation to the bevel of the knife. I kept trying to do this earlier and just kept cutting the Sharpie, so I don't
There you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Ooh. I think it's okay. Actually. Wet the stone with
so we need to wet them. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because that sounded awful.
Oh, that's good.
Forward.
So wet the stone?
Yeah, wet the stone. I think it actually says to wet the cloth and then wet the stone with it. So I guess if we're gonna do it their way.
Don't use a microfiber.
Don't use microfiber. There we go. Pull the knob all the way forward toward you and slide the stone over the heel of the blade. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
That looks like it's in that motion, yeah.
I think so. This is what Instagram always shows me. Bring the edge to a burr. Continue making equal passes down each side of the blade. So I don't have a burr yet. How do we flip it?
So you put your hand underneath,
Yeah.
and then you pull it out.
Oh!
Oh. No, I didn't like that. And then go in the opposite direction. Wow.
Oh.
Spicy. It would be hard to do a longer knife, I think. Like I've run out of room on the stone, you know what I mean? You don't know what I mean yet, but you will. You're gonna know. It makes me very nervous, friends. This also makes me very nervous. I don't I don't like it at all. So I've just gone from the 180 to the next size up, which is 800, which seems like a huge jump to me, but we're gonna go for it.
Smoother, you feel?
Smoother, yeah, and like, I don't know, I was just saying that this one makes me feel like I kind of have to know something, like, or that I'm maybe more like I'm learning something.
So how are you doing, Tiff?
I'm doing great. I'm just like
Finishing up with the 3000?
putting a really fine polish on my knife here. I don't know, I feel like I've learned a lot in the last like 15 minutes of using this machine.
Well, it took us at least 30 minutes to set it all up and
Yeah, it
find the
did.
angle and stuff.
Okay, so I think I'm ready to test.
I think it's got a leather thing, right? So you want to just strap it.
Let's give her a little bit of a strap too. Well, I mean, it's fun. Can I say it's fun? I won't talk about the quality of the design until we check it out, but okay, here we go. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not bad. Nice curve, pretty even. Like, I think if I did a few more oh, I've got a dull spot. And this one would almost pass the warehouse test. Honestly, like I think if we had a black honing rod and a paddle strap, like I don't love the tiny strap, but it doesn't feel like I've got enough grip on it. Luckily, we have one here in the studio. And not bad.
I want to try.
Yeah, please.
I learned probably one or two things from what the Tiff was doing, so I'm gonna just go at it. Luckily, we just set the angle. I wish they have better mechanism of looking at the knife in, like
Yeah.
a spring or something like that. Add the water. let it absorb a little bit. It's good. And like this?
Yeah. And I found, like, if you move your hips more than your shoulder, the action is smoother.
Ah, see?
You gotta get that baby sway on. Oh, sorry.
The sharpener, I have to kind of see how it's actually moving, right? Because
Yeah.
pretty easy to get the burr. Just be careful when you're checking the burr, though. You know, it's just like pointing at you. So after finish 400, I'm just gonna move on to 800. It's like probably equivalent to somewhere around 1,000 that we have. Okay, I think
I like your push on the stone too. Like, I can totally tell that you're used to, like, sharpening in a different manner.
okay. Get the burr, change it, and deburr, and change stone. I want to see what the leather strap does as well. So this way, you should probably go the other way, right? 'Cause
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll just cut the leather, right?
yeah. All
So
right.
how'd you do?
Let's see how this does on initial paper test. It certainly does better than
Yeah.
the pull-through sharpener, and I was able to do it a little less tip
Yeah.
than what I would done with the whetstones,
Right.
because it was a little bit harder to put the pressure on the tip,
Yeah.
as well as get to the real heel. Although heel is a little bit better.
It's still a little loud and
It's
cutting, like.
pretty rough. Rough is not a bad thing,
Yeah.
but the haven't finished with, say, 3,000.
Yeah.
They should probably be a little bit more smoother than this.
Yeah, totally.
But this will probably do pretty well on the food test, I bet. It does pretty good job, especially sharpening the last micro bevel, and does it a consistent angle.
yeah.
Although there are some mechanical flaws that
Yeah.
prevent us to do, was a little loosened
Yeah.
during the sharpening process, as well as this is not as stable.
Yeah.
And if you're one of those people who, the reason why you bought this is to sharpen them at exact angle
Yeah,
that
right.
you're
Then it's-
hoping for, this changes a degree or more.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought that the spring on would make the action a little nicer to use, but it doesn't slide through the spring all that well.
Yeah, I think it's just this part prevents that from
Yeah.
moving smoothly too, right?
Totally.
My wife will kill me if I leave this on a countertop or whatever.
Yes.
So I have to set it up every time I
Yeah.
do the sharpening. Then
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, this would be a garage tool for me. There's no way I could leave this in my kitchen.
right.
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 Okay, I guess it's time to test. We've sharpened all 6 knives. Okay, so this is my pull-through knife, And I'm gonna cut this tomato. I swear I'm gonna cut this tomato. Pretty rough, pretty rough. Oh, I don't want to. I mean, it's fine. It's not, yeah, it's not great. Next, we've got the swingy thing that has a Ruixin
Yeah.
thing. So paper test first. Much quieter, much smoother. Not the worst. Get it off the cutting board. Oh yeah, okay. So, yeah, not bad actually. Like, went pretty thin. Feels a little like an axe on the carrot, but better than the pull-through. I'd say it was okay. Not the worst. Little bit of hesitation in the middle of the carrot, like where it gets a little bit of woody. And then my hand sharpened one that we did on the whetstones. Pretty smooth, pretty quiet. I wouldn't say that I got it quieter than,
No.
yes I did.
Yeah.
Yes I did.
Yes, you did.
By quite a lot. I'm just like being self-deprecating here. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's night and day. Like the swingy thing gave an okay edge, like serviceable, but I don't know. I say to people all the time that my first Japanese knife changed the way I cut or cook forever. From like the first moment I used it, I bought it at the store and I picked up a carrot that was like this size. And I know it's not what you're supposed to do now, but at the time I was like, I'm gonna cut this carrot and it's gonna be amazing. And so that's how I judge all knives now, is by, you know, the fat end of a carrot. I'm actually like really proud of myself. Like, I don't know, feel that
I know,
carrot.
like,
It's pretty
I
nice.
was like, you went for the thicker part to
I
try.
went for the chunky end to try.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to check out and see what I could do.
My turn right now. So I'm gonna test out the old 3 knives that I sharpened on the pull-through sharpener, as well as the spider arm thing, as well as the regular whetstone sharpening. I've got just gonna use the tomatoes grade test. It will tell you how sharp the end edge is and how smooth that is. Here's the knife that I sharpened on the pull-through sharpener. Accident happened. I was putting a little bit more pressure than I was, I guess, supposed to. Didn't put that much of pressure. But anyways, it chipped the edge, so I stopped right there. I probably worked about more than 20 to 40 strokes on the edge. So see how it does. Yeah. See the immediately I can feel, because I mentioned when I was testing on the pull-through sharpener, I had a hard time working on the heel and the tip, right? So when it actually tried to cut it this way, tip slides. And it starts to cut it from this side. It doesn't. Oh, here. So I have to actually put a little bit more pressure. It's really nice smooth tomato, and I do need to put a little bit more pressure to start cutting. I'll try that on the carrot as well. So again, carrot test, I usually do it on this way. So there is no edge right here, nor here, none of the tips, but it cuts very well here actually, because what happened was that the pull-through sharpener leaves really, really rough, deeper kind of a serration on it. So they start to actually grab from this way and start to cut into it. Next is this guy here, the spider thing. What I like about this one here is that it did I was able to sharpen from all the way from heel to the tip, and this tells right away here, right? Because when I was testing the knife with a pull-through sharpener, when I was doing this, it wasn't cutting
Right.
at the same angle. But here, it starts to cut with very less pressure. So it's got a really nice edge on them, as well as middle, heel, and entirely. That's really, really good actually. When it comes to the carrot test, I would assume this actually has really nice bite too. Yeah, so the knives that we sharpen it with those tools there leaves a little bit more louder noise when you're cutting papers with. That actually turns into the bit more bitier edge. So it does have a bit nicer biting edge on them. This is actually pretty good. I'll give a pretty good pass on this guy here. And at the end, you know, like the knife that I sharpen with a very fine 4000 stone, this will give you even like the slightest here. It bites and it doesn't slide. Right here, 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 here.
Wow.
It cuts really nicely and smooth. Carrot test. I actually suspect this may not do as well as the spider thingy, because edge is a little bit more smoother. So I finished the edge this with the little, like a 4000 grit. So there is a bit of less bite. Bite is like, you know, when you look at the serrated saw, each strokes, because it's heavily serrated, they want to cut into it, right? That's kind of how it works with the little bit more toothier edge. So big elephant in the room here is that none of the gadgets that we tried, the pull-through, nor the spider thing with that thing, spider arm thing, does not thin your knife. They just worked on the last edge. But as you keep sharpening, as you keep removing the steel, what can happen is that the knife gets narrower, shorter. It becomes very thick knife. And what the thick knife does is that when you're cutting, especially the things like a carrot, when you're cutting into something dense like a carrot with the very thick knife, they split, they break. You have to put more pressure with your hand. There's more danger to get injured actually, because you're putting much more pressure. And it's actually more dangerous because you did sharpen the last edge. So the edge is sharp, but it doesn't go in as smooth as you want. Then you put more pressure, and when the accident happens, that's very, very dangerous. Whetstone, regular sharpening, you can also like adjust at any angle and sharpen and thin the knife quite easily as well. I think the biggest limitation on any tools that we tested against the whetstone sharpening. When we sharpen the Japanese knives, especially with the primary bevel like this, we do always sharpen this bevel and thin the bevel first, then sharpen the last edge with it. And sharpening gadgets cannot do that.
I don't know, we talked about earlier, like ease of use, especially the spider thing. Like I don't think that the advantages of ease of use, post setup ease of use, outweigh the advantages and ease of use of the whetstones. I got a much better edge off of the whetstones. The pull-through was a write-off for me because it was A, hard to use, B, no one's ever gonna read the instructions. Like as soon as it comes through my front door, those are in the recycling for sure. And C, it just didn't do a good job. And you are a really good sharpener and you chipped your knife on it, and that's totally not what you want.
No. So yeah, the pull-through sharpener is definitely a no for me. It's not really designed to do anything on the knife. It maybe roughen up the edge so that it does a little bit more bite than you had it before, but there's more chance of wrecking your knife. If there's any pros, maybe it's a temporary thing. Do it very gently, and if you want to just spend as little as possible, but I still like to have a honing rod over that pull-through sharpener. Okay, so the spider thing, the Ruixin or whatever, what's your thought?
Pros, I suppose, I thought it was kind of cool. Like, it really helped me to understand, I guess if nothing else, the knife geometry and like understanding the edge and maintaining your angle and the importance of that. Cons are that it was scary. It was really hard to set up. It took us forever. I don't think it's very cost effective, and it didn't actually put a very nice edge on.
I totally agree. The pros, definitely, it will ensure that you'll be able to sharpen the last micro bevel at the same angle on both sides. And you can precisely adjust them, and you can precisely sharpen them, and they have like a lot of good variety of stones. And it's pretty, once you set it up, it's fairly easy to use as well. And it kind of gives you the instruction, you do this until you raise a burr. It's like pretty easy as well. There are a lot of cons though. Again, it's not really cost effective. Despite the fact that you have lots of stone selection to choose from or go about, those qualities are not as great. Not only the construction side, we saw few things fell apart, but not only that, the smoothness of those stones didn't feel like they were as smooth as they say on the stones. As well, as you use that stone, you're not just removing the steel off from the knife, but you are removing a stone from those sharpening stones as well.
And which would mess with your angles.
Exactly. It will start to wear unevenly. You'll probably have very high spot on both ends, and you won't be able to sharpen them as the same as you are like before. It was pretty, it was awkward. It's not something that we do it every day. But pointing the knife like at me, it's like this. You could probably set it on the side, but it was very awkward.
It goes against like all of our training, right? Like you would never hand somebody a knife like that. You would never like leave one on a table like that.
So I think it's the biggest thing about the waterstone, whetstone, the traditional way of sharpening is this mental barrier. Mental barrier. Right? People look at those stones and they'll be like, oh, that's way too advanced for us. Right? That's why a lot of people come up with those gadgets, right? It's not the hard, right? Once you get into it, as you said, it's really, really fun. You don't have to invest it in like, 20, 30 stones.
Like I did this knife on 2 stones and it was fine. I had a really great time today, Naoto. Thank you so much for doing this little exercise with me. If you guys are interested at all in sharpening on whetstones, and you're still feeling a little intimidated, take one of our classes, watch some of Naoto's videos.
If you don't really want to sharpen yourself, take care of knives at home, you can always come to one of our stores or do the mailing service to send the knives in. We do all the full maintenance with the thinning and everything.
Let us know if there's a gadget that we missed, and if you like this video, maybe we'll do a couple more. They were really fun.